So I have kind of two thoughts on that. I think, and not to be graphic, I do think that, when you stab four people, that takes a lot of energy and a lot of exertion. And I do think part of it was that he was tired, quite frankly. I personally, based on the evidence that was released in this probable cause affidavit, I'm not certain that he planned on killing all four of them or expected all four of them to be there. And so I think that he may have been in such a daze and such a state that he just walked right by that roommate and didn't necessarily see her, although she said that she saw him. Now, if she was in a state of shock can take hours, days, weeks sometimes to wear off. And so that very well may have been the case with her. I know a lot of folks are sort of upset with her for not calling the police, but it's really hard to put yourself in a situation like that. And I'm not sure that at the top of her mind, she had thought that, four of her roommates had been murdered. My other thought on why he spared the dog, and I know this might seem a little strange, is that he is a very strict vegan. We know this. We know that he had asked his aunts and uncles to prepare food in separate pans. I wonder if he spared the dog simply because of the way that he views animals and that he just doesn't consume them. Because a lot of times, unfortunately, what I have seen in situations like this, animals that make noise are typically one of the first things that are killed in situations like this. So I really do think, especially now that I hear that the dog was barking and causing commotion, I do believe that may have been one of the reasons that the dog was spared.
Absolutely. And we also learned that the dog was barking in that affidavit. Bryan, I want to go back to this knife sheath. Again, so many people had wondered, about a weapon. So we know that they found the sheath. We know that there was corresponding DNA found on that sheath as well. And just talk about where this item was found.
Yeah, so the knife sheath was found on the bed next to one of the victims, right next to one of the victims. This suspect, according to the police, turned off his cell phone when he actually committed the murders. They say trying to evade law enforcement, possibly knowing that they could have pinged the cell phone in the area. But he apparently made a big mistake by leaving that knife sheath behind right there on the bed. On the button on the knife sheath, there's a button where it closes. On that button is where they found DNA. And then when they went to the Kohberger's trash can in Pennsylvania and tested the item from the trash can, it is the DNA from the button on the knife sheath that connected back to Bryan Kohberger in that DNA from the trash can.
All right, now I want to piggyback off that with you, Tracy. So the affidavit also says that DNA that Bryan is talking about that was found, it was found on the second crime scene analysis. Talk to us about that process and what that actually means.
So really, and we had seen this multiple times on different news stations documenting this, was that teams were coming in and out of that house at various times and doing different sweeps at various times. It looks like they found the footprint at one point, and then at another point they found kind of cellular material close to the footprint that might be able to be pulling DNA from. And so those kinds of things take time. In a situation like that, kind of your first order of business is to swab the blood, swab whatever visible DNA you can find. In a situation like that, in that button part of the knife sheath, which I gotta say, I echo what Bryan said. I am shocked that he left that behind, given he's working towards his PhD in criminology, and I think ego is a big part of this. You can't see that with the naked eye, and so something like that would have been done in the second, third, or fourth kind of combing through of the crime. So you don't just go through a crime scene once, because there are so many things and so many overwhelming things that can be missed.
Absolutely. And this is such a big crime scene. All right, Bryan.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.